I Believe in Wrestling here at the Team Vision Dojo in Orlando, Florida. And she's been returning to wrestling action. You've seen her on Major League Wrestling doing interviews, doing a lot of things there and all. It's really good, getting some TV on beIN Sports, so that's really cool. Now she's back, she's doing her indie wrestling. Tell us about what's been going on, why the time off, the layoff. Tell us what was going on there.
Okay, so I'm back, obviously. If you guys didn't know that I was gone for 7 months. I found out that I had a blood clot in my lungs. It's actually called sorry, it's actually called the pulmonary embolism. So I had one in each lung and then a pulmonary infarction in my left lung. So it kept me out. I had to get put on blood thinners until like it was completely cleared, and now I'm back. Like back and better than ever. I'm here at Team Vision Dojo. I'm here at I Believe in Wrestling. Wrestling all over Florida. I'm going to Georgia, a bunch of out-of-state dates, and I'm with MLW. So I'm a little bit everywhere.
Tell us about, how did you find out about the medical issues that you had?
So I went to like an emergency clinic, and I originally went there for my shoulder because I had been having like some crazy shoulder pain for like at least a week. And he asked me if there were any other issues, and I told him that I was having rib pain, and it was only overnight. So it was only like between 3 a.m. and like 4 a.m. I would wake up every night in like excruciating pain. So I told him, and then I guess that set off his like doctor triggers because he ran some blood tests and he got a CT scan and he found out that I had a blood clot. We caught it early, thank goodness. So.
And catching it early, that's right, catching it early. What was it like? Because, I mean, how serious was this? How serious could it have gotten if you didn't have the shoulder problem?
So I mean, it could have gotten way worse if I wouldn't have never, you know, told him about the pain, because it's in my lungs, and then the last place that it goes is going to be your heart. So blood clots, they start in your leg area, and then they work their way up. It being so close to my head and my brain and stuff, it's kind of a freaky thought to have because it could get up there fast. Like, you never know how fast blood clots move. But yeah, I had to stay out for the 6 months. He put me on blood thinners. I stayed in the hospital for 1 day, thank goodness, because hospital food, let me tell you. But yeah, I stayed in the hospital for a day and got released that night. I had to not wrestle or train. I could train. I couldn't bump per se because my doctor didn't want me to hit my head in any different kind of way or hit my body in a weird way and then it created another blood clot. So all I could do was kind of like roll around, get my cardio up, work out, and that's it.
What was that time though like for you that you had to stay away from the ring?
It was rough. It's the roughest thing ever. I think being able to come to Team Vision Dojo and to at least get in the ring and roll around and do these blow up drills and just sitting on classes that they are bumping on, and just to still be able to learn and write down all these cool moves that I want to do. I think that took a little bit of the sadness away, but it's still hard, you know. I was at that point in my career, I was just picking up steam. I had had a complete month of out-of-state bookings, and then I had to let it go, which sucks. But you know, at least I knew that I had it now, and it didn't, you know, go to my brain and kill me. Fingers crossed that it doesn't.
Things happen for a reason. This happened. You've been able to overcome it. What have you learned about yourself going through that whole process?
I mean, I don't know, because I feel like I don't want to say it was an injury, and I don't want to say that it changed me. But I guess just to have patience, because when you hear, oh, you got to be away from wrestling for 6 months, like it feels like a super long time, but honestly, it was the shortest time ever. So I think patience and willingness to learn more about me and who I am and what works for me. I think that's what I would say that's what I learned from it.
We're going to get a little Major League Wrestling talk here.
Yeah.
Before we go to Major League Wrestling, and one more question I want to ask you too.
Yes.
At first, when you were diagnosed with this, how nervous, how scared were you? And when did you come to a point where that sort of went away?
So to be honest, when I found out, he told my mother first, and my mother, like, she didn't freak out, but you know, emotional mom stuff. like I knew what blood clots were, but I guess I just didn't understand the severity of them. And I still like, I didn't go and research everything about blood clots, so I still don't know exactly the severity of it.
That may be a good thing because there's 50 million things online.
I know,
you can drive yourself crazy
right?
sometimes looking up everything and reading about things.
Right, you type something in Google and next thing you have cancer. But no, seriously, like, it sucks that I had it, and I guess knowing what could happen if it got worse, that scares me a lot. But knowing that it didn't happen, I guess that's the part that doesn't scare me. I'm kind of just like, oh, well, we caught it, so I'll be fine. But the reality of it is that it can come back. You know, blood clots. Once you have a blood clot, your chances of it coming back are higher. So, fingers crossed that it never does come back. But you just gotta live and learn. YOLO. You only live once.
Part of that, or you only live once, you were able to get with the Major League Wrestling, and you got to do a lot of interviews and be on TV. How did you get that experience? And is there anything in the future, maybe you'll be wrestling with MLW?
Fingers crossed that I wrestle. I know one of the owners or people that work there, he is definitely talking about bringing a women's division, so fingers crossed. But I got the spot on MLW because Mr. St. Laurent used to work at I Believe in Wrestling. He knew me from here. He pushed and pushed and pushed to Court for me to come in. Court was like, okay, come in, do a tryout test run, and yeah, now I'm there all the time.
How do you like that part of it? It's a lot different than in the ring, so now you're interviewing.
It is very different. Just getting to learn like all the backstage stuff. I'm working with producers who used to work in WWE, you know? So getting to learn what they learned there and what they're bringing to kind of like the new side of wrestling, it's pretty cool. It's awesome. And I get to work with like Jim Cornette, Tommy Dreamer, Court Bauer, the Boss Man. So yeah, it's pretty cool to, you know, get to just pick their brains and hear, even if I'm not picking their brains and I'm just sitting, you know, in the seat next to them, and they're having a conversation with somebody else, it's just cool to hear how they think about planning these shows and how they think about running their business. Because in the end, it is a business. It's on TV, it's on beIN Sports. So
that's interesting that you get to sit in on those meetings too, because that, like you said, that's a learning experience in itself to be a part of that. How did you get your start?
I wrestled in Maryland. So I'm originally from Baltimore. I wrestled in Maryland when I was 18, and then I stopped for a year. I was like, well, wrestling's not really working out. Kind of that, like, I'm not in WWE thing yet. So wrestling.
After a year, right?
Yeah, like I'm good. In 1 year, I'll be in WWE. It's kind of like when you have a job and you're like, I'm only going to be here for 1 year and then I'll go get another one. But I stopped when I was 19, and then I was gonna move to Tampa to go to the FCW beginners course, but then they moved to the PC, which is here in Orlando. So I came to Team Vision Dojo, and that's my start.
How are things been going? Hey, how have things been going with Team Vision Dojo and I Believe in Wrestling?
Really good. I love coming here. I learn new things every day, and I'm always taken to my limits, which my limits are not very high, but hopefully they get higher. But no, they're really, really good here. I just finished a match, and it was pretty good. I'm a bad girl here, so. But no, things are really good, really, really good. I'm learning so much, and we have so many guest trainers that come in. Eva Lise came, Larry Zbysko's here often.
Low Key.
Low Key, oh yeah, Low Key was here. Oh my goodness, how can I forget Low Key?
Right? Josh Woods was just
here.
Josh
Woods was here. I didn't get to come to that class because I had to work,
but Scott Hall has been here.
Yes,
I mean, there's been a lot. Santana's been here and even trained here.
Yeah, Santana's actually the reason that I came to this school in the first place, because, you know, she's an international traveler. She's an amazing wrestler. So she's the reason I came, but I'm here now. I'm at I Believe in Wrestling. I'm at Team Vision Dojo, and if you want to train, you can come here too and come see me. And see me on MLW, only on beIN Sports.
Thank you, Kaci Lennox.
You're welcome.